Sorry, you're thinking of George Hamilton.
Yes, somebody called me George Hamilton yet today. It was the best.
And yes, I do remember going to that restaurant. So
yes, Violino. So we went to Violino the other night, and this will be a restaurant review from those Canadian lads for those folks at Violino. And let me tell you, the experience at Violino, as you can see by Jeff's reaction, was fantastic.
I totally forgot about this. Go.
So we got a chance to enjoy good company. I can't see Jeff right now. He's pounding some water as he always does on the podcast. But Jeff, how was your meal?
My meal, okay, well, I will say the overall experience was very negative. I'm sure we'll joke about the details coming forward here, and I'm glad you brought this up. I will speak specifically to my meal. I will say my wife, she said that her dish was decent. She had no complaints, so there was that.
Good.
My halibut was extremely dry, which I know I sound pretentious thinking about that, but that's not the reason we're complaining about this. We have a myriad of details of why we should complain about this, and I don't want to steal your thunder, so I'm going to let you go ahead and explain your experience.
Like a big shot, I got the surf and turf. Decided to go with the old steak and lobster dinner, thinking, this is going to be good. I never order that. Where do you just don't get, at COVID times, you don't get a chance to go and order the old surf and turf. So I got the surf and turf. So, order the surf and turf, medium rare steak. Very excited. They're like, we got a delicious peppercorn sauce on this thing. Get the steak. It's a piece of boot leather. So That's the first thing that I noticed. I'm like, it's overcooked. Why don't you send it back? I don't want to send it back. This looks like a place that they don't want to send stuff back. So I grin and bear it. So take a bite of my steak. They got a beautiful peppercorn sauce. The waitress tells us they must have put Dove soap in the sauce because it tasted like Dove soap. I maybe people like it. Maybe we'll have some dear listeners of those Canadian lads. No, you're wrong. Violino's, it's delicious. It's fantastic. We continue on with the dinner. The wife would like another beverage, a Diet Pepsi. So they gave her the original, and then she wanted another. So the waitress comes back, and she comes back with a bottle. You know those bottles you get at Sobeys. It's not like a one. It's
7-Eleven.
It's not a 1 liter, but it's about a 1 liter of soda.
It's the 550 milliliter soda bottle. Yeah,
550 milliliters, not a gallon to our American folks listening on those Canadian lads. So it looked like she went into her car, rustled around the back seat, and grabbed like a half-dranken bottle of this pop. She didn't even fill up the whole glass of the pop. So the wife didn't even get a full new glass of pop. She got like not even 3/4 or half. It was just like a weird amount, and she never came back and refilled the glass to a whole. So it was like, what the hell's going on here? And then Jeffrey has to go to the old men's room. So Jeff goes to the men's room, and then you send us a photo from the men's room.
Yes, the men's room apparently is a very inclusive zone where you get to watch your friends go to the bathroom, where across from the toilet and the urinal is 2 chairs, nicely decorated to enjoy the company of other men while you urinate or get rid of the previous night's dinner. I don't know. But I will say, too, 2 other things to add to this awesome scenario. So, yes, your lovely wife had a wonderful half Diet Pepsi from... She got approximately 237 milliliters of Diet Pepsi from a weird
the back
bottle.
seat of her car. Yeah.
From the back seat of her car. My glass of wine was as the hottest glass of wine I've ever had in my life.
You're supposed to drink your wine hot, aren't you, Jeff?
It was like soup, which was insane. And then I think the coup de grace, I think the thing that you missed here was that you and I each had a meat dish. Our lovely ladies each had a pasta dish, if memory serves correct. And they came out with a block of Parmesan in her bare hand.
I forgot about that.
And grated it while holding the block of cheese in her bare hand. And I'm like, now I will say that maybe it's been long enough that I haven't been at an Italian restaurant where they do this right, where I forgot what you're supposed to do with a block of Parmesan. I kind of assumed that even the Olive Garden has that dispenser that you rotate.
Oh, yeah.
But I assume you don't hold it in your bare hand and grate it across their food.
So I can't remember. Was she wearing a mask? I think she was wearing a mask.
No,
So it's like,
she wasn't wearing a mask.
oh,
No
anyways.
glove, no mask. I'm like, I personally, I don't care about that. But
I'm not saying that. I'm just like, I thought it
it's
was kind of
weird.
contradictory. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was odd. And then walking out the restaurant, you describe it. I kind of like turned my head and then I was like, what?
No.
Fuck is going on?
This is
here?
You're bearing a lead again. Before I'll let you describe that. I'll describe that. You described the best part of her comment about your meal, but the when we're leaving the restaurant, this is like 10 o'clock at night. Finally, most of the restaurants cleared out. On the way to the restaurant, there is a couple. I'm not going to say engaged in coitus, but they are as close as you possibly can be to two teenagers making out in the dining room of this restaurant. And
She was sitting on his lap
yeah, and I was
at
not
a table for 10, and there were only 2 of them on it there. It was crazy.
I was not prepared for that. I will say that.
I can't get into the details of what I think they were doing, but you can imagine what I'm thinking they were doing. They were kind of tucked away, everybody. So, Violino, you want to take somebody special to a nice Italian restaurant, get a questionable meal, and then conduct activities, go to Violino.
I'll leave this clue for the listener. Nikki Glazer does a bit on exactly what we think happened at that restaurant. But I think you're bearing the lead. After you had experienced your terrible steak and your surf and turf, and
The lobster was fine. It was a little rubbery.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
It was to be expected.
But I did take a cut of your steak because you were saying how terrible. I had to inspect it myself because it sounded pretty bad. You decided that your meal was no longer worth eating and you laid your napkin across. And I heard the best line I've ever heard in a restaurant when she came by to collect the plates and she's like, "Are you ashamed of your meal?" I was like, this is the greatest line ever. Are you ashamed of your meal? And I was like, I can't believe you didn't turn around and go say, you should be ashamed of your meal.
What did I say? It was like, it wasn't the best I've ever had.
I think you said, I am. I think you said, I am.
And I'm usually very respectful
Yes,
because
I will.
that is the hardest job to do. But she wasn't obviously putting in the best effort of the night. So it's not her fault. She didn't cook the steak or the soap-laden peppercorn sauce. So it's not her fault. It's her fault that she went into the back of her car and dug out that bottle of Pepsi to pour in that glass. So what a great night, though.
I will say that as somebody who's had plenty of meals with you, I will say actually you bite the bullet more often than not. So I would say it's not like you to complain. So it was a unique circumstance.
It was shitty.
So sorry, Violino.
No.
Violino. I'm going to say that's those Canadian lads down. I wouldn't go back there.
We're doing thumbs down. We're doing thumbs down.
Yeah, we're doing thumbs down.
Don't go there.
So sorry. Hey, maybe they clean up their act. I hope they do. And many people can enjoy their restaurant in the future. So that all being said, Brad, any parting thoughts for us this evening?
Yeah, Jeff, I'm going to hit the old drum roll button here, and we're going to let you know what I've been partaking in over the last hour.
Yeah.
Yes, so let's do a drum roll of if this works. I don't hear anything, so that's good.
So,
yeah, there you go. Diet A&W root beer.
oh, wow.
Yeah. You can't drink on a podcast. You can't have alcoholic beverages.
I can.
podcast?
And did.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed a nice cold with ice A&W root beer. It was very good, and I had a little too much partaking in the libations during a 2-week holiday period. So just taking her easy. Yeah, Jack Daniels makes a great a punch drink that you can't even taste the alcohol, laden with sugar. So yeah, it's time to take it easy with that kind of stuff. So
Nothing wrong with hitting the brake. Nothing wrong with
hitting the brake, taking a break, hitting the brake,
Yeah.
and taking a break.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your A&W root beer. I enjoyed a lovely old fashioned, and
Yes.
unlike you, I believe I can drink on a podcast. But that being said, I thank all of you for tuning in, downloading our podcast, watching us on YouTube. I hope you turn in again. As I said, if you see number 2, Plugger, at the Elks game, come say hi, and hope to hear you next week.
Absolutely. This has been fun, Jeff. We'll see you next week, hopefully with a special guest. And if it's not, it's going to be us. So let's close it off with that. Thanks again for listening, and have a great night.
Good night.